Hello, so here is the new dime weighing voting system, and I had the caucus system, stadium caucus system visualized in a previous video, three-dimensionally, so I figured that it'll be really helpful for everyone to visualize this system as well. So we use 90% silver dimes because we're fancy. We don't use any of that copper stuff. I estimated about 34 poll watchers just to be safe, but you could actually pull this off with probably like 10. So here is the line. This is where we enter here. You get your IDs checked right here. All of the poll watchers are wearing red caps, red baseball caps to identify themselves. And then you come over here. I have just parallelized to go a little bit faster with this process. You can be given dimes. Why not? You could be provided dimes, or you could be given your own. So here we have just some information. On the right, you have increasing your UBI and taxes by 5%. On your left, you have decreasing UBI and taxes by 5%. In reality, this might be a little bit more sophisticated based on what the hexarchy decides. And there might be like 3 or 4 options. I would say like 1 to 4 options here. This is for changing your tax rates, tax and UBI. So you put it in here. It says 1 vote per person. It goes into the box. It's got a little chute here. And the chute could have like a gate that only allows 1 coin at a time, and that gate also like lights up an LED for the poll watchers so they know that 1 dime has went through. And this slot right here is only big enough for a dime, so it doesn't allow any other coins through, because that might throw off the weight a little bit of the boxes. So then over here we have our large public project A, large public project B, and C. Pretty much the same setup, except this time you can vote for all of them. So you can vote for all 3 public projects if you really are enthusiastic about all 3 or 4 of them. Here we have the charity market. Look at this. All of these boxes. I mean, it might not be this many, but at the same time, it might be that many. So if you have a city of 100,000 people, how many charitable organizations do you think exist in that society? 100? I mean, this might be 100 boxes, right? So it's not that excessive, and it's not that unreasonable. So maybe even like 250. The beauty of this system is that dimes are tiny. And if a charity gets like 200 dimes, how big of a box do you really need? And these chutes here are the width of a dime. So you could really like even get it more dense than this. You can get the voting system even denser than that. So anyway, 1 person, 1 vote per person, because otherwise you're going to throw off the charity system. Exact same process. It lights up when a coin goes through it, and it only allows 1 coin at a time. And yeah, so moving on, we have the hexarchy. There could be more candidates than this, because remember, 6 candidates win. So there might be a lot of people running since 6 people win. So also 1 vote per person. And go over here. So many things to vote on, right? There's actually a lot of democracy. But notice the only time you vote for a candidate, so you're voting for ideas in the first scenario. You're voting for projects, or you're voting for policies in the first scenario. You're voting for projects in the second scenario. You're voting for institutions in the third scenario. You're actually voting for politicians in the 4th scenario, unfortunately. In the 5th scenario is the panarchist military services, which is also institutions. The last scenario, you're voting for law or for ideas. So even though you're doing all of this voting, even though everyone's doing all of this voting, you're really only voting for politicians once. You're only voting for politicians in one scenario, one aspect of this system. Everything else is policies and projects and institutions and ideas. So I really love it. And then you just keep going, and here's your exit. And you've done your duty. You can't get back in because we check IDs at the door. Once your ID number, you give your photo ID, they have a list of resident IDs. They cross you off the list as having voted. So, yes, we do the voter ID here. It's extremely important. An extremely important part of the process is voter ID. Because otherwise, you just go around here and you're like, oh, I'm voting again. Let's vote again. Throw off the whole system. So, yes, you can also vote for all of the changes to the law if you'd like. There's probably only going to be one or two changes to the law. And then for the panarchist, you could even have like up to 10 panarchist military services to choose from. And this is also one vote per person. So we just have like a sign that says one vote. You can vote for all, everything. I was actually going to add more signage here, but I didn't. Look at that. You can actually read it. I was going to add more because every single charity might want, a half sheet of paper to try to sell themselves or at least label it, right? So anyway, this, and then just for some efficiency of real estate, you have this locked door here. This door is locked. You have a staircase up to the second floor. And then here you have your bureaucracy. This is your government offices on the second floor. And when voting is not in session, when you're not prepared for the voting, you can do some other stuff with this space. I mean, throw everything into a locker. Throw all these boxes and stuff into a locker. And use the space for something else. But so you can have potentially 100,000 people in a city and do all of your voting on the first floor of a single hexagon. And it's just going to be, you might, at about 100,000 people, you might want to split it up into 2 or 3. Take this whole system, parallelize it 2, 3, 4 times with 100K. But it is really efficient. It's really compact. I really liked how it turned out. This might not be a final version, but I am liking it. It has to be the single file is what is important. Otherwise, you're going to have people walking back and forth. It's going to get confusing. People are going to be able to fool the poll watchers and cheat. So this single file process is very important. And people can abstain from voting at any point by simply just keep walking. What you're not allowed to do is walk backwards and vote some more. You're going to get yelled at by the poll watchers. So anyway, I don't want to keep you too much longer. That is pretty much it for the dime voting system or the coin voting system. And that's it. Thank you and have a nice day.